All right, you're
Time
on.
being 6:35, we'll call to order the Tuesday, October 23rd meeting of the Tilton Planning Board. First thing is, have you had an opportunity to look over the 11th and the 25th minutes?
Yes.
Perfect.
I would
Entertain a motion.
motion to approve the minutes?
Second.
The 11th and the 25th both.
Yes.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Yes.
Any opposed? Any abstain? Woo-hoo! All right.
Oh, that's good.
What?
That was bad. That was nice.
I'm sorry, you went up to the
I
slow
wish it
down.
worked like that all the time.
You gave me
No problem.
coffee when I walked.
No. Sorry, I'll keep my mouth closed.
All right. We have tonight, did you get the change of use paper?
Yes, it was for,
Pebbles.
Right here.
Miss Pebbles Mitchell.
yeah, it was something,
And Luke.
I thought that was funny.
Zero.
I only say that because I had Fruity Pebbles that morning when I read it.
Good for you.
So, not when I read it, but like.
So you're familiar with which building it is, everybody knows. Now, previous, that was commercial space before it was allowed to be an apartment. And,
Do you want to read into the record which address we're talking about?
262 Main Street, map 5, lot 10,
There's the maroon building.
also known as the Crimson Building.
That's the what?
Crimson building?
It's the one across the street, right?
Yes, right on
Is
the
it-
hill.
The storefront window.
So what is everybody's thoughts?
So
What
all
was
we
it?
have to do is just review this and there's.
We don't have to,
approve it.
yeah, but we say it is a change of use or it is not a change of use.
What was the previous use?
Apartment buildings.
Well, it has been an apartment, it has been
It
a
was a store, it
restaurant,
was a store at one
it has
point.
been stores.
Yeah, it's been commercial. Well, apartments are commercial, but they're residential as well, of course.
What brings you to Tilton?
I've been looking to branch out. My mom does pawn and tail card readings in Concord, and my aunt does it in Manchester. So I've been looking to branch out and open my own store because it's something that runs in the family. And I was actually looking on Craigslist, and by mistake I came across it, and I loved the windows, so I called Ron and I met with him a couple of times already. And we just wanted to go from there and see about things. I fell in love with the place as soon as I seen it. So it's not like I was really looking for Tilton, it just came to me, pretty much.
Okay, so yeah, so you like the size and, because there's a lot of empty storefronts, but this one has an apartment in it.
Yep.
And, okay. So how does that work? So it's Monday through Saturday, pretty much all the time, until 7 p.m. And that is just no employees, right? Just
Now,
beside
this
yourself.
means some days, if I don't have an appointment, it's not a big business. It's something very small, and on a good day, I'll have 2 appointments.
Oh,
Some days I don't have any appointments. I will be
Be
selling.
positive.
Oh, no, positive is 2 or 3 appointments. It's not a big business. I will be selling some candles and crystals and healing oils and things like that, but on a more slower day, if I feel like nothing is going to pick up, I can even close up earlier. I think 7 will be the latest because it is a small town. Like my mom stays open until about 8, 8:30 because Concord has a little bit more going on.
couple things. Do you have one of these forms where you've signed it? Because there's no signature on this one.
Yeah, I give the time of today.
Oh, okay. And the sign, 3x3, what is,
That's the one that goes outside that fence. He said he thinks the biggest I can go is 3x3, but smaller.
and it's not illuminated?
No, it's going to be a wood sign.
Okay, wood sign, good, okay. All right, that's,
But I don't see it as any problem at all.
Wait, we have to ask her what she thinks if she sees. If you read their website, if you go onto her website or her mom's website,
Dude,
there was an article about
she
them,
doesn't
and they
have
know
cards,
what they're
nothing.
getting each other for Christmas. Right? See?
Well, you already know how this meeting's going to turn out anyway.
She's gonna have to show up.
See.
Do we have to put this in a form of a motion, Barry?
Yeah, a motion as to whether you feel it needs site plan review or not would be.
I would, and I would make a motion that this does not need site plan review.
I concur. Yes, that's a second.
Okay, so under discussion, will you be living at that location?
Yes. The back of it was used as an apartment.
I saw the diagram, I have that here.
So the front room, there's actually 2 front rooms.
Mhm.
I would only be using one and leaving, I wouldn't really be doing anything with the second one because I wouldn't want people to walk, in the back, where I plan on making that a living space. And that front room, the first one, is big enough for what I do.
I have no other question.
Any other questions?
I'm just trying to, well, just for the record, this property had been commercial at least one other time, right?
Yes,
Mhm.
So it's really not, it's more of a formality,
correct.
yeah,
I agree.
so. Yeah, that's about it. I guess this is the first tarot card.
Hang on, we have a motion on the
place.
table.
Oh, sorry.
All right,
Yes.
any more discussion?
No.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? There you go.
All right.
Ta-da.
Thanks.
And Dario will get you paperwork this week.
There's
that tells
still
you-
any number of different things you have to comply with, of course. Fire inspections and what have you.
Yep.
You understand that, right?
No
Yeah.
blinking signs.
We wanted to go through this first before, anything else. So.
Mhm.
Oh, welcome to town.
Right, that's our first one then, that we know of.
Is it,
Now,
Tarot.
120
Your
East
aunt
Main
is
used
it
to
too?
be a
Figure 4
private
in
reader.
293?
What was that?
You said your aunt is in Manchester?
You like that?
Is she off exit
I've been here
4?
too long.
Yeah.
That's a Dairy Queen there?
We've had everything,
Yeah.
right?
I don't know, my friend. Silly.
So, give me a call when you get a chance and I'll talk you through the next step.
We didn't ask when it's going to be open.
Great, thanks.
Curious. So when are you going to open?
The apply
Good luck.
in end of November, early December.
Ah,
Earlier if possible, but I'm shooting for early December.
we'll have to go in and see what's in
Thank
the
you.
Thank
store for our town.
Do you have any correspondence?
I have these, it looks like Northfield is holding a rather exciting event. Northfield Economic Development Corporation Annual Meeting. It's at the Highland Mountain Park. And it looks like they've put in quite an effort to invite folks from Tilton.
Yeah, I guess so.
Oh,
Wow,
Well, I get one addressed to, wow.
that's pretty
I,
expensive
they must not, they must have sent one to you as
I'm guessing that I've got one in my
Selectman, yeah.
folder
I
downstairs.
think you must, but I'll give you mine to look at.
Well, I'll give it back.
Okay. And then there's something you guys can pass around, a creative look at how I just got this in my box. I assume I'll have some emailed also that I can send around.
Nice. Did you have a question?
No, not about that.
Oh, okay.
I don't know.
Other business? Would you like to be in other business?
Sure, why not?
Okay.
A couple of things. I don't know, I don't want to sound like I'm complaining, but have you noticed that there's auto serve sprawl?
Yes.
The what?
They are now taking over the parking lot at Tilton Fireworks. And
Yes.
I know
Yes,
they've
we're
never-
aware of it.
They've never site planned for the dirt lot that they're using.
I'll have I can give you guys an update very soon. We're aware of the Tilton Fireworks circumstance. Obviously, we're aware of what's going on across from Lowe's. And what was the other thing? Did you just say?
It was just that
Okay.
dirt lot, I call it.
Okay, yeah, and we're working on a solution. I would imagine that when we meet in November, I'll have answers for you that I can share as sort of final answers. Other than that, I'm happy to discuss, one-on-one.
I just wanted to bring it up.
Yeah, no, and you're not the only one.
I came in today and had a discussion, and I've had several, and I know that I'm not the only one.
Yeah, I guess, the one thing I'll say is that let's keep in mind that that site across from Lowe's is approved for 3 large structures with parking lot and whatnot. So I think that if you look at impacts, as long as those cars are being stored there in a way that protects the environment, obviously it's less traffic than what 4 retail establishments that are open and operating would be generating. It's less noise, theoretically. It's less...
There's no silt fences around the property to protect the dirt from washing down the embankment.
No stormwater
There-
management plan?
I wouldn't say there's no stormwater management protection there. For the shape of the site in itself is relatively flat in that area. It's not like the area where they're parking the cars is sloped. And then there is, I think, a stone swale in one corner, if I remember correctly. But these are some of the things we want to nail down before we come to a final resolution. I'll just say that I feel that there may be some way to appropriately manage the situation and recognize that there is site plan approval and perhaps not bring them in for site plan approval for this particular use because, again, if it's done properly, it should be less impactful than what they are approved for.
Have your ducks in a row.
Right, exactly,
Questions are going to come up.
exactly.
I got another thing.
Yes.
So, last night I went to the Lake Region Planning Commission
Yeah.
meeting, and I'll forward you the slides. I think you may have gotten the email with the PowerPoint.
Yes.
But the case that we did have tonight was a great example of one of the things they brought up to help. It was talking about aging in New Hampshire and how to get younger people in, and where you have mixed a commercial residential purpose, like we're on the first floor. Obviously, this doesn't work on the first floor, but the first floor is the commercial. Right above it is where the owner of the business lives, and this is kind of the good example of that to help bring in younger people into the state. But maybe at the next meeting I can talk more about it, because I didn't download any of the slides today. But it was very interesting. It kind of ties in with what Jules has been working on too, and I don't know what else is there.
And Eric, I'd like to propose that we start talking about zoning amendments, at some of our upcoming meetings. And if you have thoughts of changes to zoning that would open up some of the opportunities that you discussed in that, last night.
There was definitely some good stuff there.
We could certainly look at some zoning amendments that'll make opportunities like that more.
Because they talked about one of the things that prevents development, and it's very over-restrictive zoning. So.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and I agree too, but I did start to kind of look at historic district zoning. And I know I don't want to impose all these conditions and zoning ordinances, but I was wondering if there was anything that we could do as far as maintaining or encouraging sort of a historic character of that downtown area.
They did pass it.
We do have a historic district established down there. It's listed.
Are you saying that you might want to set actual standards and requirements for building colors and
No.
siding choices?
And no, that's not what I was thinking of, but I didn't know what. I just hope it was more for, okay, we've got all the blinking lights and, stuff that's clearly out of place,
Neon signs, flashing signs.
flashing signs and.
Flashing signs aren't allowed, neon signs are allowed, so yeah.
Right, I mean,
Right,
some
okay.
stuff like that,
Yeah,
just
right.
to encourage the character of the, but it's, again, sort of like gonna be a long process of looking into what is legal, and, people have asked me multiple times to limit, the amount of vape shops we have, for instance, but of course you can't do that. But is there anything that you can do? I don't know.
Yeah, okay.
So,
Yeah.
I think we need an
you all
anchor.
think?
I think we need an anchor.
An anchor? Like the
Just
onion?
like a mall.
The onion, I always call it the onion.
And
Onions?
I view the downtown as a large mall. And having an anchor that actually draws people specifically to downtown Tilton, a large number of people, a major restaurant, a music venue.
Like T-Hop.
Well, T-Hop is, and if you're coming to Tilton for lunch, T-Hop's a great place to go. If you're coming for breakfast, Polly's. It's not like we have nothing on Main Street, but I'm thinking about something bigger, something major. I don't know necessarily. I'd love to see like a common man go in the bank building or something.
Oh, yeah, that.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Something bigger in the scheme of things that brings people downtown, and then other businesses come down to kind of feed off that traffic.
But at night now, with Casamigos and those guys, you can't find a parking spot.
And the Casa Amigos is a great business to have down there. That's what we have in the nighttime, pretty much. Again, T-Hop. A lot of their businesses to go. So just an idea. I'm casting my bait.
This lady tonight is awesome because that storefront having blankets in the windows for years when they let it become an apartment, that was a poor decision, and now getting it back to a storefront, it's open, it's more welcoming when you come downtown. It's one of the first buildings you see.
One of the things that I identified years ago is we have a major building on Main Street that you can't hardly even see. St. Bonnie's Press.
Yeah, what's going on with that place?
It's for sale if you got money, but it's got no parking. And you go inside. I don't know exactly
Six
what the
parking spots
where
down around the back. It does have legal parking.
does it go
But
through.
minimal.
Go through Billy Lawrence's alley or whatever. I'm calling it Billy's, but it's not necessarily
Right.
Billy's.
That's a right of way to the back,
Yeah.
264 inside.
No, well, I've been around here for a long time, and I didn't even realize it was there. So, and I've been in the building and still didn't even realize it was there. It's a beautiful building. It's big, wide open. It's sort of like the Jim Cropsey's place down here, only it hasn't been reconditioned. Lots of wood beams and wide open spaces and stuff like that, and apparently 6 parking places. That makes it tough, and it's not very visible, but it certainly is a great thing, and it is a great building. What do we do with it?
So the major investment to do anything with it's the concern.
You go out in the back of that building, stand on the Cannon Bridge and look at the back of that building, and it's held up by cement pilings and pieces of metal that hold it up. And at one point, one of those pilings gave way, and they did whatever they did to brace it up and shore it up. But there's potential structure issues there, I would think. You know, and what would it cost to fix that up? That's kind of my dream, but
Many springs, when it was the St. Bonnie Press and the lower floor was the press room, we'd be sandbagging because we knew the river was
so
rising
there you go.
and it was
Oh,
going to
wow.
get wet.
Potential flooding, and I know though that river comes up over its banks at the brick church and any number of places down there. It'll come over the banks and inundate whatever's there. So I'm not an engineer, so I don't know, but that seems like a heck of an opportunity. I just don't know what to do with it.
Any other business?
I think we have some visitors.
Yes. What brings you to visit us?
I was just coming in, I thought there was, somebody was coming in tonight for, I live on Coney Road down near Winnisquam. I thought they were coming in there for the building behind me, but it used to be the old Anchorage area.
No.
I think they'll be here the first meeting in November, which is, and I'll give you my card also so you can call leading up to the meeting. November 13th.
Have you seen any plans on that?
No, I've had very informal, brief discussions with them of the possibility of maybe like a cluster development or something like that. Yeah, so, but they will be coming in, I think, for the sort of tentative plan is coming in November. Planning board just have a general discussion, and then I think they're gonna be at the ZBA in November also. So at the meeting in November, we can talk about it. Here's my card.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. You're welcome to stay. We're almost done here.
We don't need to.
No, we're just interested.
You can come back for the real
We
meeting.
before we came in anyway, so we got out of the rain for a minute.
There you go.
There you go.
Thanks, folks.
Thank you. Enjoy. Do we have any other business?
Sorry.
Zoning amendments? Or-
I could throw, yeah, I mean, because there's only 4 of us here tonight, we could wait till next time.
Do you
but-
want to email them to
Well,
all of us,
what
so
are
we
they?
can start?
Yeah, sure. There's some,
Mystery amendments here?
what's that?
Go ahead. What?
We still have something in zoning that says all lights have to be turned off by 11 p.m. We tried to address this a few years back, and my recollection that there was one person who was adamantly opposed to doing anything on it, but we can't really realistically have that in the zoning ordinance, that all lights have to be shut off by 11 p.m.
Yeah,
It's
no.
unenforceable at this point.
Right, that's
So
silly.
I think we need to address that.
What, are we gonna get bombed here or
I
something?
think I'd like to look at ADUs. I think, the fact that you guys instituted that ADU ordinance, great thing. We don't allow detached. I'm not sure that we should. I think we should consider allowing detached ADUs, and we require that the owner occupy one of the units, either the main unit or the ADU. I'd like to at least discuss the possibility of removing that requirement.
Now, the state
know about
law
that.
said you didn't, I thought the state law was specific that it did not have to be a relative.
The state law basically allows you to require relative is,
That's not, yeah.
right. The relative as far as who rents out the ADU or who else rents out the other unit, we don't have anything like that. We don't need to. I don't think, the state law definitely doesn't require that. The state law allows the option of requiring that one of the units be owner occupied, but you don't have to require it. So I think, in the interest of what Eric's talking about, some of the things probably that are in that other little flyer that I handed around is the idea of opening up as many opportunities as possible without sacrificing the character of the community. So I think that might be one we want to talk about. Another thing along those lines is tiny houses.
That's right.
I don't think we have anything right now other than there's something in subdivision, so this is not something we have to address at town meeting, that says it's a lingering regulation. I think before I got here, you guys sought to get rid of any square footage numbers attached, like a dwelling unit must be such and such size.
650 square feet,
The
right?
650, yeah, exactly. You nailed it. 650 is still in the subdivision regulations. According to my discussions with Ms. Dawson, Catherine, that was kind of a mistake. It was a missed one, and that all those numbers were supposed to get out. I think getting rid of that one last appearance of 650 in subdivision would help open the door of the possibility of people having tiny houses. And I maybe would just like to talk a little bit about,
Might that not open the door to broom closet apartments?
Yes.
Yeah, it could. So it
mobile home.
it could. It could
You
open.
could rent out a full apartment in a mobile home.
I
Because
mean,
if there's how it's small is too small.
Right.
Yeah, I thought
That's just a
Catherine-
question for later on.
Well,
but
it is,
would there have to
yeah.
be other things like working facilities?
Yeah.
They would have to be a separate facilities thing and its own septic and, you know.
But I think Mr. Jessamine is honest. I mean, there's got to be some negatives associated with
Yeah.
just completely opening the door to people living in like, literally closets. I mean, so we have to
If you say I can
consider.
have a tiny house here, what's to say, then how come I can't have a mobile home there?
Yeah. And then, right, does that open up the door to the ZBA having to grant all sorts of things because he's saying, well, if I can have a tiny house there, or like you just said, why can't I do this? So that is something I think, again, in along the lines of opening up opportunities for our changing demographics and people's changing views on, you know, what size of house is required. You know, the McMansion days are perhaps, you know, well, I won't say behind us, but for some people, the idea of living in a tiny house is attractive and for environmental reasons, energy saving reasons.
Some of those houses are pretty nice, small but
yeah,
nice.
and cool. I mean, they're kind of fun, you know.
As a starter house or whatever.
Yeah.
Well, isn't that what's going over by the Anchorage? Although it's seasonal, but it's still tiny.
Kind of. I mean, that's not going to go in because they decided
Oh, they
not to
didn't?
do that.
Oh, they didn't. Oh, I didn't know that. Okay.
That's, I don't know if you heard, but that's what those people are going to
Right.
come for next month. It's a completely new proposal for what's going to happen.
Wow.
there.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, and then this is just a cleanup thing that I hope you guys will agree to. We added, I think, the changes we made to the certificate of occupancy requirements in zoning at last year's town meeting, I think have really helped us. They were good changes. I just want to add one word where it says, you know, the certificate of occupancy is to essentially confirms or you know, documents that you've met certain requirements. We just need to add the word local to make sure so that we can pull, so it makes it clear that Al has the authority to pull someone's CO if they're not in compliance with local regulations. So
That certainly makes sense. Our enforcement guy can't use our, you know,
I think he can now, but it would just completely make it no doubt, no question.
well, he
yeah.
has been, but I
Yeah.
agree with you.
Right, yeah. So that's all I've got for tonight. So I will, you know, work on these more and put them in an email or, you know, somehow we'll have them ready to talk in more detail at a future meeting.
I want to know what you guys thought of changing the whatever triggers that you have to declare yourself a business. What am I thinking of? Where your the home business rules, where they're really vague. We don't have any kind of parameters on like when it's a home business and when it's not.
Cool.
And you know, that's basically there's so many people in violation if you read the law strictly. And like we discussed this before, where in Plymouth they have a triggering thing where the home business has to take up like 20% of your home or more. So at least you know, all right, if I'm selling something over the internet, I didn't just violate, you know, I'm not a home business technically, or home-based business, whatever you call it. And I haven't read it recently, so I don't know, but maybe you know more.
Yeah, you may recall, I think you mentioned this, last year I presented the idea to you guys of not requiring site plan review for home-based businesses. And
You did.
You guys didn't like that. You didn't want to do
I
that.
liked it, but
Okay.
maybe
As a group, as a body, you didn't want to do that.
I can think of an instance where that would require that. Over on River Road, we have a construction business run out of the guy's house. Heavy equipment and everything else.
right. Okay,
Right,
but
so
what I'm
they're-
thinking
they're-
of,
they're-
I'm not thinking of that. I'm thinking of little people selling stuff over the internet on eBay. They're yard sale little items here and there. They're supposed to be a home business, but it's obviously a little rinky-dink. They're making soap or something and they're selling. They have eggs that they're selling. You know, I mean, we got to have a trigger point here where it's, what is it? Where we're talking
And Catherine, I'm sure, could spout this much better than me, but there is a thing where the fruits of your own labor. If you're constructing plant hangers, if you're making pot holders and you're selling, if you're making jams and jellies, eggs, you can sell them and you don't need a permit. You don't even need a vendor's license. That's at farmers markets. And in order to participate in that, you have to have your own product.
Yeah.
But we're talking about what, what's going to trigger them to have to come in and site plan.
But, I mean, Joe's, as Mr. Jessam's point is accurate. I mean, there's a agricultural statute, so it's a state statute that I can't remember, you're right, Kathleen would probably know it.
Yeah, she would.
But but it's specific to agriculture. I'm not sure a macrame pot holder, unless you grew the hemp or whatever on your, which that'd be another problem. But anyway, if you grew the fiber and did that, then. But what if you want to sell your action figure collection from when you were a boy? Should
eBay.
you have to come in and do site plan?
Exactly,
review?
you're in
Yeah,
violation.
right.
And I don't want to
Yeah.
mention any names, but there's some people.
Oh, I'm sure there's a
boards,
number of people who do
some
eBay
work
and
on their laptop, and they're like, oh no,
Yeah,
I guess I'm in violation.
right.
maybe technically they are, but we should address
What
that.
We
happens
should
if they
address
have
that, yeah.
that selection in storage somewhere? And then sell it all, are they in violation?
Right.
That's what I'm saying, all this
Yeah.
internet stuff,
Yeah.
come on now.
All right, so
We're bringing it
I
to
made
the
a note
21st
on
century.
my official zoning amendment document here that we're going to do something about home businesses.
Thank you.
And I-
Develop a criteria for site plan review of a home business.
Right.
It's set up in zoning, but it basically makes it so that anything you do is a home business, And then, but it also, so it says you got to come in for site plan review for anything. If you want to sell, essentially, you really could say if you wanted to sell handmade soaps that you make on the weekend, you got to do site plan review. But it also says, but it can't look anything like a business. It's got, if you drive by, people shouldn't be able to tell that it's business other than maybe a little sign that says Juliet's Handmade Soaps or whatever. So it seems not almost, it's
Yes.
kind of, hey, this isn't fair. You're not letting me
Yeah.
look like a business, but I got to come in and do site plan review just like if I was a business. So maybe we need to have these.
Tiers.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, some kind of
Never.
triggering.
That's why you're the chairman. You come up with this stuff.
We'll
Right
deal
now
with
we
this
have these
year.
kinds
We'll
of
do it.
tiers, right? Ooh. Tiers. Sorry.
Yes.
Gotcha. All right. So that's all I got.
On another note, I went to the select board last meeting or two and told them that we have secured a place for a farmer's market for next year. So
Get
Tilton
out.
will have a farmer's market again.
Hey, where?
Catholic Church on Chestnut.
Nice, in the parking lot or in the back?
Upper parking
Yep.
lot in the grassy area, and then down below will be parking, and
Yep.
then up above, if we need any handicap parking, there'll be handicap parking.
Outstanding, outstanding.
So,
That
yeah,
is
we
awesome.
negotiated with the Catholic
Is
Church to do
that the same woman who was doing it before?
No, that is the Catholic Church in my school.
Outstanding.
That is great. And you know what? That's weird because the tractor supply place had a farmer's market.
No, that was Joan, and her last name escapes me. But she was a hustler. Yeah, she hustled that hard, and she had all sorts of people there.
Good
Oh,
job.
yeah?
Uh-huh.
Oh.
I used
Not
to go
Agway?
And we're looking
at
at,
Agway. She was also in the
The old
parking lot at the
Agway.
mall.
She said Tractor
It
Supply.
was at Tractor Supply because I was there.
That was a
Had
national
like a-
No, I'm thinking of Agway down
yeah, that was
effort by
a day
Tractor
thing.
Supply.
exit
Oh, it was like
20.
a tractor
Off.
supply day of
It was a one-off type thing.
But still, that's pretty cool.
Well, I think
That's great.
I think having a farmer's market's a great thing for the
It's
area.
going to be on Thursdays. We're actually partnering with the farmers market in Franklin.
No
So
kidding.
that we'll be working together on
Nice.
advertising.
Nice.
Or advertising. We're already going to be on the state website to be a farmer's market. And we've been working with the state for the paperwork to accept EBT and SNAP cards.
Outstanding. Are you
Great.
guys going to be trading vendors?
Yeah.
Like this week, Thursday.
They do Tuesdays.
All right, all right.
Thursdays.
So that
That's
gives
why they picked the different days.
locals 2 different days.
Yeah.
And I think Samerton has one as well, but I'm not sure about the details of that. Yay, well, good deal.
Yeah,
There we
it's
go.
great. That is
Well,
great.
everyone was talking about it, it's like, let's just do it.
Once a
Why are we
week?
talking? Yes. Yeah, May through October.
Julia, do they still have local foods Plymouth?
Yes.
And it's still, you can order over the website, food and have a pickup day and everything?
Yes.
Yeah. That was
Have you
pretty
tried
cool.
that?
When I was a student,
Oh.
1,000 years ago.
Is that the place behind the train station? Is that the same group that does that? They have a farmer's market every, I want to say Tuesday in Plymouth, behind the senior center.
Yep, every Thursday.
Thursday.
Yep. They brought in the brick oven pizza guy, brings in like an entire oven
On a trailer.
on a something.
Yeah.
That's a big seller.
Cool.
Weird mushrooms.
Do we have anything else?
Get with, well, what triggers, with those farmers market, what triggers hawkers and peddler licenses, Dari? Is it that agriculture requirement where you have to produce the thing yourself? If I'm buying Yankee candles and setting up a table, I need to be a hawker and peddler, or how does that work?
How did we handle the other farmer's market?
I don't think that hawkers and
Make
peddlers is,
That's what I'm asking, because there was a question about that over at the outlet mall.
Well, that's the other question. Why is the craft fairs that they do at the outlet mall not getting hawkers and peddlers?
yeah.
Those aren't handmade.
So
everybody.
I actually don't, I guess we probably could improve again, where you jump between tiers. You've got hawkers and peddlers, you've got the change of use review form, we've got home businesses. The points where you pass from one to the other probably do need to be better defined. An example would be Lone Star. We just kind of all worked together and we said, all right, if they go there next year, they're doing site plan
You gotta-
review.
I don't know why they got the deal they got to start with.
Yeah.
Barbecue
I
place
don't get
and the-
Oh, right.
That's a good question.
And you look at that
Tell us.
site now, and it's still an armpit, they never cleaned it up.
Well,
Still got their
So, yeah.
signage on it too.
so it was, we want to open a barbecue trailer. So, okay, well, if it was a hot dog trailer, we'd let them do it with a hawkers and peddlers license.
For a month,
Then we
maybe
go,
3 weeks.
then we go in there and we say, wait a minute, this is a lot more than that. There's a little house, they got a gray water dumping system, they got parking lots, they got picnic tables. This is operating just like a restaurant. If they come, and that's where we said, if they come back next year, they have to do site plan review, and that's what we did. And then they were scheduled for site plan review, and they got, Jay Christie's place, where I think it's open now.
They are open, it was for
Okay.
sale.
Yeah, it's off for sale sign
but,
up front.
is there an absolute line where you say you've gone from hawkers and peddlers to site plan review? No. So, to me, it's all part of the site plan review sort of topic or area. All the way, I think this change of use review form is part of it. I think the home business has to be part of it. The hawkers and peddlers has to be part of it. And we have to just kind of say, they're all basically people wanting to conduct a commercial venture of some sort, and we need to better define where they, which one of these buckets they fall into.
That
Yeah,
is
I
an
mean,
odd question. When the outlet mall does craft fairs, they take up a quarter of their parking, yet their site plan is approved on how many parking spots they have. I know City of Concord won't allow that type of thing, because now you don't have adequate parking for your businesses anymore.
Well, once their parking lot fills up, there's no place else to park.
yeah,
It's
I
just a
think-
conversation starter.
It
Yeah.
is. I think
I keep an eye on the
we
front.
could be absolute and say you can't have a farmer's market. Another way to play it is if we see, parking issues, then we,
Step into that, right?
Yeah.
but then people would say, well, that's not fair. It says here, this is this, but it doesn't say wait until there are parking issues, so.
Thought I'd open that Pandora's box
Yeah.
just for games. You're
'Cause
welcome.
we're a little tiny town with all these big town problems.
Because we have a big town exit 20.
Nah, exit 20.
If we were just messing with our little downtown here, it'd be,
We're geographically located. We are prime real estate. We really are. Right in the geographical center of the state between two of the 5 cities or whatever. Franklin on one side and Laconia on the other that are both trying to get their Renaissance thing going. And we're the place where they get off the highway coming north or south to access that. How do we get our slice of the pie?
which is funny because when you talk to Franklin, they always say, what the heck, we never put in the bypass, so we're screwed. So, every town feels their own pains.
Hello.
Hello there.
Have a seat, stay on.
Oh, yeah, I didn't think.
Oh, he wasn't coming
assistant
out.
to the vice chair.
On a mission, yeah.
Yeah.
When are we meeting next?
Last Tuesday of November, we're gonna go 4 weeks.
Cheers, you're all weird.
So is that it?
What's that?
I'm all
Tuesdays are
set,
my worst
everybody
day.
else all set?
Somebody said holidays were bad.
Then I would like to make a motion to adjourn.
Just kidding.
That's right. Oh, let's figure it out.
Second.
Seconded by Ms. Malia.
Any discussion?
Yeah, let's.
Vote with your feet.
All those in favor?
Yes.
Aye. Anyone opposed? You'll be here alone.
Tomorrow is
Oh, yeah.
Wednesday. Now, when is
4:30 here.
4:30 here tomorrow?
The business people, I met with the business people, they are,
It's just a sucky week. Oh.
serious tonight?
World Series, 1 hour.
Well, no, they
don't know.